All right, welcome into another episode of Sleeper Bears. My name is Dave, cover the Bears for Sleeper, and this is episode 2. Super excited about this. We're going to go about 10, 20 minutes here, just talking about the latest Bears news. And speaking of which, Cameron Jordan, edge rusher. I know a lot of Bears fans kind of wanted to see perhaps him ending up in Chicago happen. We're going to go ahead and take a look here. It looks like he's going to be returning to the Saints. It was announced by Adam Schefter. And unfortunately, it's just another edge rusher that is just off the board for Chicago. And with that being said, there are other edge rushers available. We'll get to that in a second, along with some other NFC North news that I found quite funny. It is kind of, I guess it's a move you could say that could benefit Chicago as well. We'll get to it in a little bit. But the Saints brought back one of the best free agents left as far as pass rushers go. Very accomplished. He's a Pro Bowler, 8-time Pro Bowler, and he's returning on a 1-year deal. And apparently this is his last season in the NFL. So this is, I guess, his last hurrah. And the two sides basically put together a 1-year incentive-laden deal or laden deal during his visit. Interesting enough, there's been a lot of talk about the Bears and, do they have any money left? And I guess it's a fair question, right? The Bears, they have $8.2 million available, but the Saints actually only had $8.1 million available when they signed Jordan. Now, again, this is an incentive deal, so I don't know exactly what that looks like. And obviously, the cap is a myth. If you have a wizard, in finance, and most teams do, I would say some more than others, but they can get deals done. And so the cap can be twisted to kind of make deals work. And so, with that being said, what's next out here? And the interesting part with this, I'm going to bring it up. According to ESPN, the Bears had, let's see here. No, the Cameron Jordan was the 7th best remaining free agent. He's the second actually best edge rusher compared to Joey Bosa. And that's who I want to talk about here. We'll go ahead and share my screen. We can go ahead and bring it up. But Joey Bosa is a very interesting, let me pull it up here. Very interesting player to kind of keep an eye on. Obviously played for the Bills last year. He may fit Dennis Allen's scheme as well, perhaps. He can kind of rush the passer, but also he can kind of play against the run. So that's kind of what Allen is probably looking for as well. I just don't know if the Bears are going to make a move. But as far as like the news today, you obviously have a couple signings that Chicago made as well that were pretty interesting. But Cam Jordan, that kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie to you. That you go down here just a couple more, you'll see Cameron Jordan. He's 37 years old. That right there within itself, I understand. But for a 1-year deal, maybe it just didn't make sense. Maybe he wanted to stay, with the Saints, his team. But there was that familiarity with Dennis Allen that I thought there was a possibility that the Bears maybe had a shot at bringing him, luring him to Chicago, maybe be a part of something it's super exciting. And so with that, let's see. Joey Bosa, I believe that's the only other edge rusher that I would be interested in. Clowney is interesting as well, but I just don't see that happening. You guys let me know in the comments if you think Jadeveon Clowney has any chance of, I guess, playing for Chicago in 2026. He's going to be 33 years old. What ESPN here is what he brings. The 12th year pro had 8.5 sacks and 32 pressures last season in 13 games. It's pretty good, winning late in the down to get to the quarterback. We expect Clowney to sign a short-term deal as a rotational pass rusher. So I'll take it back. That paragraph right there. I didn't know he had that much production, 8.5 sacks. I don't know what the price is either on a player like Clowney. Obviously, he has that pedigree as well, where you probably are paying for the name a little bit more. But I wouldn't put it out. I think Jadeveon Clowney is very, very possible. I don't know. Hassan Reddick, edge rusher as well. He had 2.5 sacks, 23 pressures for the Bucs last season. If the Bears were going to make a move, right, you think Cam Jordan was probably the last big domino. But I wouldn't put it out of question for Chicago to make one more potential signing. You got Dio, right? Let's see here. You got Montez Sweat. I think the biggest wild card too, if we're all being honest here, is more likely going to be Austin Booker. That's probably who Chicago is banking on for the most part to kind of do something, or I guess become better, right? Become more of a, I'm not going to say like a premier pass rusher, but you probably need him to be at least good, and be the I guess Robin to Montez Sweat. But I guess that really, how much do you believe in Montez Sweat? I think one of the most interesting quotes out of OTAs was the Chicago Bears. I think it was Ben Johnson talking about looking back, watching and scouting, I guess, his own players from 2026, looking at it more in detail, right? Kind of take a couple months off. I think he took about a month off, and he was able to go through each guy and watch the tape and see exactly how he played. And he said that one player that was very surprising was Montez Sweat, how dominant he was, how he was the ability to get to the pass rusher was actually a lot better than he thought. And so he thought he had a hell of a season. And so if Montez Sweat can continue to rise, but then the additional rise of Austin Booker, that's where it gets really interesting. And then, of course, Dio, he's back on the field for OTAs. He's looking slow. I'll be honest, he's looking a little slow. But at the end of the day, we'll just have to wait and see what Chicago does. And Dennis Allen, I think he has his speed, right? That's what the Bears wanted this year. And so we'll just have to, trust that, Ben and company and Poles, that they got who they wanted. And so speaking of which, couple moves to the 90-man has added a pair of UFL veterans today, linebacker Tony Fields and wide receiver Caden Davis. I don't know exactly if this is going to change anything for me or for, the Super Bowl odds. It's definitely not. But you'd like to see the Bears bring in more players, especially I think just UFL players. Obviously 90-man, they're trying to get bodies for camp. But another linebacker, another receiver, and we'll just have to wait and see. Another interesting move was in the NFC North. This is probably my favorite move of the day. And if you're enjoying the content, again, we're going to do not daily, but at least a couple videos a week on this Sleeper Bears channel. And you follow all content at Sleeper Bears on Twitter or X, along with TikTok as well. I don't run those accounts, but I know they have a great team over there that takes care of Sleeper content. And so I'm excited to be making the content as well. You can follow all my stuff over at Dave BFTV. And yeah, just a lot of fun stuff coming your way for this season. You can stay with me and by just subscribing and liking and hitting that like button. So we have other content here. Let me pull this up. This is the very interesting one. This is the Vikings. The Vikings made a rather interesting move here. It was the hiring of former Bears GM Ryan Pace as a football advisor, a former Seahawks executive assistant, a pro director of scouting. Nolan anticipated continuing to add to his staff. There was also I think there was a comment here from, I think it was Adam Schefter. He said that he's going to bring in, wealth of knowledge. He's alluding to former Bears GM Ryan Pace. And so for me, it was a little surprising. He continues to get a job in the NFL. And credit to him. He's obviously a brilliant mind. Just don't let him pick your quarterback. That's all I got to say. I don't know. And the Vikings are kind of in that, limbo here. Obviously they have JJ McCarthy and then Kyler Murray. What does that mean? I don't know what they're going to do this year. I think they're going to be probably competitive. They got some pieces, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. That defense is okay as well. I'm not sure what to expect from the Minnesota Vikings, but they added Ryan Pace. And if you're a Bears fan, you're probably laughing, probably feeling pretty good right now. So other than that, there wasn't too much news for Chicago. So again, if you enjoy just Bears content, you're looking for more stuff, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to Sleeper Bears. We'll have another episode perhaps later in the week, but definitely one next week as well. Kind of just recapping some other news that probably is coming down the pipeline. And then we're going to do a lot of fun, just like rankings for the NFC North and really just where this Bears roster stands. And we'll try to predict maybe the 53. I know the Bears got 90 players right now. They waived Dominique Hampton and Gabriel Placinia. Dominic Hampton was a linebacker, and then Gabriel Placinia, might have butchered that, but he's a kicker they waived those two players today to kind of bring in more room for Tony Fields the second and Caden Davis, the wide receiver. So, and that Caden Davis signing, I know we touched on it briefly. I think it could be interesting. He's kind of more of a returner. I'm not going to say I'm a Caden Davis, savant, but just taking a look at it. And I know he's been around the league for quite some time. I think since 2018, kind of bounced around the UFL, but also in Chicago, or not Chicago, but the NFL. So he's kind of like a dynamic return man. I just don't see where he fits in a very crowded wide receiver room, a very talented one too. And then of course the return game, I'm not saying Khalif Raymond, I think has that locked, but and then of course when Luther Burden's chomping at the bits to get that return game, he's just too important for the pass game. But all in all, the Bears, not too much as far as like news going on. If you wanted Cam Jordan, that's bad news. It kind of does stink. But at the end of the day, Chicago's going to be okay. They got through. They had a great season last year, and they still could not rush the passer for the most part. You had a decent season. If you ask Ben Johnson, a pretty good season for Montez Sweat. So you're looking at Austin Booker. You're looking at guys like Dio Adebingo to get healthy. And then, of course, Montez Sweat to continue to accelerate. Obviously, the Bears sent a second for him. You want to see that still come to fruition where he maybe takes another leap here. And Austin Booker, I think, playing a part in that, him taking a leap will help Montez Sweat, because then you got two guys that potentially can kind of just wreck a play. And so the Bears, it's going to be a fun offseason the rest of the way. We are about a month and some change from training camp. And I'll be giving away some tickets here exclusively on the Sleeper channel. So if you can, stick around, subscribe, hit that like button. Also, we're doing a Colston Loveland jersey giveaway still. We're going to give it away at 1,000 subscribers. We're on the road to that for the Sleeper Bears content. And so again, to really just qualify, go to my account. I have it pinned. Also, just hit that like and subscribe. We're going to be picking winner at 1,000 subs. And so hoping to get there before training camp. Again, thank you so much for the support. You can follow me on all socials at DaveBFTV. Also cover the Bears for Bears Fan TV, along with I write about the Bears on Bears on Sports Illustrated. And so just excited to kind of continue this journey on Sleeper Bears. Also, I know there's a comment about getting something behind me. We're going to get some Bears gear. We're going to get something here. Just bear with me, no pun intended, for the background. For now, you're going to have to deal with me and just the camera. So, but if again, check out all content on Sleeper, just a great app. And I cannot wait to continue to bring you guys content. So again, one last reminder, hit the comments if you think the Bears should sign Joey Bosa, maybe Jadeveon Clowney. I cannot say that name for some reason. Or if you think the Bears should just probably stand put, maybe wait for cuts. If I had to guess, I don't think Chicago makes another big move like those free agents. Perhaps they bring in another body at cuts, as camp kind of winds down in late August. But for me, I think the Bears are probably done. And if you're a Cam Jordan, truther, this one's going to suck. But at the end of the day, you got to trust the process, trust Ryan Poles, especially Ben Johnson. And we'll see what the Bears can do. So again, enjoy the rest of your week. We'll have more content coming on Sleeper Bears. Bear down, baby.